to Coyer Field on the beautiful grounds of Buffalo State College, just off of Grant Street in the Skajakwita, if you will. And we're here for another great UPSL match, this time between Chantilly Forever, hailing from the Hamilton, Ontario area, against Invictus FC. And Paul, we were down with both of these teams just before the game, and you know what? They brought not only the sunshine that's here in the Buffalo area today, but they brought a lot, because if you look at the records of both these clubs, you know, there isn't a lot to play for. You wouldn't be able to tell that talking to both coaches.
No, both coaches were just very, very eloquently stating their need to win this game. I love the fact that they didn't come out to say, well, we're hoping to play well. Nope, they want to win this game. Chantilly has been playing a good, strong game throughout the season. Unfortunately, a lot of injuries, new players all over the place, and at critical times they've let goals in. Invictus, though, go on a 3-game streak. They're in the playoffs.
Absolutely. As we were talking to Coach Ellen Jusic from Invictus, despite their injuries and staffing problems, really are looking this as game one of a 3-game road trip that could springboard them into the playoffs. Chantilly, though, they're throwing out all the records, and this is just game one of the next step. They're in this for the long run. They've made the long trip from the Hamilton area. Say hello to everybody in the Ancaster and Dundas areas, and they are getting ready to go right here.
And interestingly, this is their first year in the Western New York division. Last year they were in the Michigan division, had a little more success. So maybe the teams in this division takes a year maybe to get your feet underneath you.
All right, if you've just joined us here on this salubrious Saturday in North Buffalo area, you'll see that Chantilly in their white shirts, black shorts, will be going left to right on your iPhone, your iPad, or your streaming device. And then consequently, we'll look at Invictus, who will be wearing gold jerseys and gray pants, and they'll be going right to left. So a little cycling of the ball back to the keeper, Patrick Ivanisic. And we talked about 4-3-3 it's going to be for Chantilly, and they're trying to do some creation to get on the board early.
Yeah, no change in formation to the 4-3-3. Coach felt with the players that he had today, as we talked about, players are in and out. They've had injuries. They've got college students that aren't here today. They felt that was his strongest formation for what the players he had.
Ball into the top of the box for Invictus. They're trying to hit the half space inside the 18, but it will roll out for a goal kick. And as we were down on the field before, for those of us not in the Buffalo area, today, again, as I said, a salubrious Saturday. They're going to call an offside earlier before the pass into the 18. It's about 73 degrees, but unlike the last 2 days that were near 90 in the Buffalo area, there is, I wouldn't call gale force winds, but definitely Highmark Stadium, blustery off the river type winds. And we talked about it. This may affect the a match on either side. Ball into the top of the box, into the half space. That's number 11, Troy Bromfield gets it. Ball deflected in net. Bicycle kicked out with not much not much success, and that gave a nice shot there to King Wedderburn, and that could have been disastrous for Invictus. Great way for Chantilly to get up early.
You know, and for the fans back home up in the Hamilton area, last game that we broadcasted, Broomfield had 2 goals. He's a big, physical striker, good technique, both-footed type of player, and he doesn't mind mixing it up for a striker. So we're looking for a big game from him today also.
Invictus plays a 4-2-3-1, and they're going to try to play positionally here, use those 5 lanes that you might see Manchester City use on a Saturday and Sunday morning if you're up early enough to watch the Premier League. And again, you can see possession there. Invictus inside to the midfield. Nice 2 or 3 touch football, but dispossessed and cleared by number 2, Eric Vades, the defender. And ball tried to recycle back for Invictus. And with the wind, that chip carries over the midfield stripe, flicked on. And it'll be kicked out of touch, and it's going to be a throw-in for Invictus. Invictus, again, with 1 touch, will try to work on the right side. They do. Back out wide, and you'll see how Invictus tries to stretch the field, and you'll see the white jerseys of Chantilly just become more compact. And Paul, we talked about no matter how much the league you go up in a level and the adjustments, football kind of stays the same. Get small by your own goal, get wide in the other goal, and create space. And you see both teams, as we'll see, the first 5 minutes or so is just a chess match. They're feeling themselves out. It's like a heavyweight fight. And Chantilly looking for respect here. They've lost some heartbreakers. They're down to, we were talking about, the third or fourth position. They even have a keeper playing center back just because, you can have a roster of 30, but it's a war of attrition to get through a soccer season.
It is. It's very difficult in the summer leagues on the men's and the women's side, as we know locally with the women's program. So we're going to, they're going to do their best. And their center back today, Brandon Flores, a very good goalkeeper, had a wonderful game last time we were here. And hopefully for today, he'll transition those skills out to the center back.
Well, first corner of the game for Invictus, and I think you can tell that the wind just pushed that far and wide. Usually being this close to the Niagara River and the juncture of Lake Erie, you'll get a southwest wind, but this is decidedly coming out of the northeast, and it pushed it wide. Invictus tries to move it into the box, shot, and well wide. So they'll wait for the ball boy to get it up, and it'll be a goal kick for Chantilly.
I hate to invoke the words wide right. That wind is really pushing from the left side of the field to the right as we're looking. So we might see a few of those balls head out that direction.
Played short originally, and you can see, again, the wind. And if you're looking on our broadcast, you can see the youngsters from the Chantilly Youth Club that played earlier before this game starts, and they're getting pushed around by just trying to hold those flags upright. So I would say we're probably about a 15-mile-an-hour to 17-mile-an-hour sustained wind, and ball taken by Invictus back to their keeper to try to recycle and just lump down the field. And you can see that ball is just going to carry the 80 yards all the way down into the box where Patrick Ivanishek will just try to get that underway with a nice rollout there. Or Earl Anthony kind of kegling rollout. Brought up to the midfield stripe and chipped forward off the top of the head of Shaqiri. And it'll be a throw for Invictus. Little discussion, a filibuster, if you will, with the near AR.
I thought, the players were doing a little howdy-doody there for just a second. They had a little disagreement going on.
Ball dangerously put down the field. And again, it's going to take some time. Now, Paul and I had talked in the plush media accommodations beforehand about what do you do when a game has this type of weather. Now, it looks sunny if you're sitting at home on the porch or on the deck, but ball nearly intercepted by Chantilly. And there is number 11, Troy Bromfield. Bromfield dangerous, taking on 2, taking on 3, dispossessed by Invictus, and here they come. And now they do have some numbers, but a good defensive play there. And again, you're talking about, well, we'll call it howdy-do. Well, right city, Buffalo Bob, and
howdy doody, boom. It's a little different than the show was.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of us who remember
old enough,
what we're talking
we won't
about.
even invoke the name Clarabelle, right? So let's do that. All right, thrown into number 3. That's Tahiri. Tahiri takes it back to a center back, and they'll bring it back into Perrin. Perrin, nice vision, checking both shoulders, gets it back to his center back to Perrin. Perrin looking for some space. He has it. Finds it over the midfield stripe. Tries to get it up to Bromfield. Pete has it. And again, you can see how that ball is nice. Sliding tackle there. Joel Moranis was able to recover, but Invictus gets it back again. Invictus at the top of the 18 puts it out into the half space. Dangerously. Just shot wide. And again, it looks as if we're not trying to make excuses here, but for the ball just trying to be settled on this plastic pitch. And when the ball came out to the winger that was in the near half space, ball couldn't settle and was ready to strike the ball. It was one of those left foot, right foot, and by that time it got pushed out there. So the second corner of the game coming for Invictus. It'll be a left-footed attempt and could be dangerous with the way this wind is bending balls early on. Ball on the keeper, and then an acrobatic and brave Invictus is able to win that ball and get it quickly out to the left-hand side.
And we saw how that wind really bent that ball right back into the goalkeeper.
Nice bit of trickery there by, I believe that's Bromfield. And he is dispossessed on the top of the 18. And Invictus gets the ball back once again, but it's intercepted by Chantilly. Back over to Perrin. Perrin, he'll take his time. Nice ball in, tried to find Wedderburn. He couldn't do it, and it'll go all the way into the Invictus keeper. Just rolls it out, playing short. Invictus try to set up that formation again, that 4-2-3-1. They have a nice diamond in the midfield there, and they're trying to find space. For those guys watching at home, just don't try to watch the ball here. I understand that's, where the goals come from, but where the soccer comes from, follow the space. And right now, with both teams playing as hard defensively, there's not an inch of space out there, Paul.
No, great defensive formation so far. They're keeping their shape well. They're doing what they've been coached up to do for this game. I expect. I'm looking at Chantilly, and you see a lot of physical play from Invictus. Every time somebody's getting the ball, they're getting hands.
They're right. There's no time out there. That's why I like how Perrin was checking his shoulders, scanning for space. 1, 2, 3 touches. Here comes Tahiri. Tahiri tries to get it up to center forward. He can't get it through. Again, you see as Invictus collapses and tried to find a number 7 for Invictus. Unfortunately, at this level, we tried to use caps and sleeves and numbers on the back of jerseys, and if the media is going to do the game, it would be nice if
if we had their numbers with their names.
We would have so number 7. If you washed that jersey back in New York State, good job. It was a nice attempt, and here comes a Chantilly at the top of the 18, 3-back shot, and it's over the net under a great bit of duress. Ball easily put up there, up the left-hand side, and you talked about that, Paul, how quickly, even if there is a mistake or miscoverage, that Invictus gets back, and Chantilly, number 7, Wedderburn, almost made him pay for that, but quickly Invictus got back there.
Yeah, we talked very early in the game about the formation Invictus is in, which is basically making those spaces a little bit tighter. They don't have to cover as much ground. And so if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to beat them cleanly. We talked about the surface. Turf surfaces versus natural grass. There's nothing like the natural grass. And we saw that ball kind of a little bouncy there on the
and it'll happen with the heat. I mean, turf extends the season both in the spring and in the late fall. You can even play some games around Christmas time. A little miscommunication, and you can see the ball just being blown back without much inertia. And Chantilly, again, will try the left side. They've had some early success working on the left side. Again, they have it. 2 quick passes, and it looks like that was Wedderburn again, and he was shoved from the back. I think he's trying to eke something out of there. Took a tough one down on these plastic little plastic pebbles out there.
And Coach, really, he's trying to make a statement without complaining, right?
Exactly.
Now, he took a foul. There's no doubt he got pushed. He took a lot of advantage of his time down because he wants to tell that center ref, hey, I'm getting manhandled here every time. You need to blow it.
What game within a game? Exactly. And again, up to number 7 for Invictus. He'll be chased down by Joel Marinis. 1v1 inside the 18. Put out to the top. Zone 14. Shot right on, but easily gobbled up by Ivanisic. Rolled out again to the left-hand side. So it seems early on Coach Perrin has been directing those boys to maybe they see something on that left side nearest the benches, because time and time again, and even when they get out to the side, nice one touch by Ruggiero. He tries to get it up to Bromfield, and it looked as if Bromfield maybe knew he was over and backed himself offside, was waiting for something to play, kind of gave that coy look over to the AR, like, did he catch it? Did he get it?
And for our fans at home, what's happening is the AR is waiting to see who's got the advantage. So once Chantilly took that advantage, then the flag came up. He knew he was offsides, but good for him. Make the referee do his job.
Absolutely. Yeah, it gets a little different. I mean, this is a good level of football, ball bouncing in the box. But again, the wind carries it just a bit too far. And this might be one of those games where it's not as much advantage if you think it would be to have the wind behind your back. And wind definitely going right to left on your iPhone or iPad. Ball into Bromfield. Bromfield put a nice ball, and that's just going to be offside. The AR called that immediately, and that's where, you know what, I don't like the aesthetics of playing on American football field, but that's one of those times, just kind of like you see the VAR on TV, the football line really helped the AR call that one.
Yes, it did. Just offside. Just what a beautiful play, though. The way that should be done, tic-tac-toe, it's in. Unfortunately, just about a half a foot ahead of the ball.
Again, we talked about how that as Perrin is playing that center midfield, but he has been wandering to each side of the field, opening up that space. And when the defenders from Invictus chased him, he gave it to Bromfield. Bromfield put it right up into the middle and nearly a goal, just a half step offside. And there's the aforementioned Perrin, gets it in. I believe that's to Wedderburn. And again, a good 1v1 battle, but dispossessed by Invictus. And Invictus is kind of like one of those, boxers you might see. They'll take some time against the ropes, and they're making Chantilly work for every inch of space that they can find out there.
They definitely are, and props to Perrin. You noted very early some of the things that he does very well. He checks back. He knows where players are on the field. Another player that can play with both feet. He's an extremely good passer. As we've seen, he's gotten that ball, those through balls, up for the opportunities that Chantilly has had. So if you want to watch a fun player, I like to kind of key in on games like, who can I take my eyes off of? Well, he's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Invictus, their defense tries to bring it in. Nice move. Again, ball flicked into the middle, bounces around the top of the 18. Looking to be cleared, and as number 16, Fabrice Ruggiero, he was kind of deciding, do I have space? And again, we talked about how at Invictus, they're playing defense offensively. It's that if for the basketball fans out there, it's a full court press. And when Ruggiero had the ball, he thought he had more time than he did and created a turnover. And again, Invictus gets it back one more time, top of the 18, ball deflected in the air. Unable to be settled. It's going to be a battle on the left-hand side. And again, on the counter, here comes Chantilly. Chantilly tries to get it into number 11, Bromfield. Bromfield's proven to be quite the talisman for Chantilly. They've changed their results around. They had a couple really good ties. Sometimes when you draw on soccer ball, we talked about this. Sometimes they feel like a loss. And sometimes they feel like a win. And Chantilly, you can tell with the energy they're playing out here, those results, whether it be only 1 out of 3 points, are still positive. I've rarely talked to a more positive coaching staff because they know what they have. They know what they've had to do, what they've faced this year as the ball for Invictus comes out and it will roll out. And if you just walked in, you wouldn't be able to tell what team is where in the standings right now.
No, definitely not. Both teams are playing a very good brand of soccer. Emphasis on defense. We're watching Chantilly. They do like to counter. As I've said, they've got that big physical striker up top. He's a man that you better stay close to. Invictus, though, of course, playing. Well, as you said, they're spreading the field out with their people, closing down lanes. So it's a. What are the sentences that you said? What are the things you said? It's a chess match. I love that because I tell people about soccer. It's not American football. It's like chess out on a field. Every move, there's a counter to that.
And there we go. Just a miscue there by Invictus. Nice ball in by Shaqiri. Shot on. And Perrin just put it over the top of the right-hand corner, and a dangerous look. Earlier on I was going to mention about Shaqiri, number 8 for Chantilly. If you look at both of the wingers on the side. That's number 7, Wedderburn and Shaqiri. They are playing positionally also. A lot of times you'll see in youth soccer kids that run around like a bee in a pop can. And people and coaches even will think, oh, look how hard they're working. Well, look at, Wedderburn and look at Shaqiri. Look how smart they're working. By them keeping the distance on the side, almost heels to the touch line, they're spreading a very tough Invictus back four, and they're creating the space which Perrin almost manipulated for a goal.
That's exactly right. And so many times we'll watch the outside mids float to the middle. They end up really just bringing a player into that chaotic spot. Nope, stay outside, stay wide. A lot of times I'll refer to soccer nowadays as we're going to go horizontally to move vertically.
Exactly. You look at it now, you can see our center referee, Mr. Kramer, out there. Early on, he's trying to set a tone himself. He's a veteran official, and in the center there, he's letting the young gentleman play with play the kind of game, and it's been kind of physical. He knows where they are in these standings. He knows what this game means to both of them, but he's making sure there's control here. And you could see early on there was, like you said, a little talking back and forth. And as we head into the 15th minute or so, or near the 20th minute or so, now we're starting to settle in here, Paul, and the soccer is being played. And here we go again. Bromfield, 1-on-2. He's still got a chance and upended. And it looks just outside the box.
I think it's going to be a penalty kick. Nope. Yep.
And they're going to see here. They're going to say it happened in the box. And it's going to be a penalty for Chantilly. Very close. We don't have VAR here. But even myself, and this is one of the things I've said, if you have not officiated, I don't care if it's T-ball. Being an official is one of the most thankless, and it's not an easy job. And player, official, announcers, I was a little fooled by, if you can see where the yellow 18 of soccer is compared to the 10-yard line of the American football field, I was a little confused myself. But it looks as if after discussion, there is no discussion, and it's definitely a penalty for Chantilly.
But I like what's happening down on the field with the referees. The AR had the ball marked where the collision took place, and those two set it up, and you have two people deciding now.
All right, we'll see as Chantilly steps up and a cheeky finish over the top, and it looks like number 11 Troy Bromfield for the Big Bopper's favorite team, Chantilly. And he says, ooh, baby, that's what I like. And it's 1-0.
But isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful little deke, as I might say, coming up strong, looking like he's going to go to his right, stops, and then just chips it over.
How much confidence does Bromfield have in himself? He's taking that chip into a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't just decided there. That's years up in Hamilton in the backyard, breaking fence posts, trying that out on the little net in the backyard. And guess what? That press, that working of space was able to get the turnover, split the two center backs who had no choice but to try to take them down. And Coach Perrin will say thank you very much. And Chantilly goes up in the game's, I believe, we'll try to say 23rd minute perhaps. So, ball in. Oh, here it goes. Invictus comes right back, and they answer with a goal.
They answered with a goal and a double flip backwards. So he gets style points for the shot, which I thought perfect shot, slotted it nicely. We talk about power versus.
That was a finisher's finish.
Yep. Power versus finesse. That was a finesse goal. It was a nice shot.
Let's talk about finesse. Number 7. Numero set for all our Canadian watchers. I was going to say our viewers, right? That's what they would be. Sometimes they get the radio call messed up with the television call. So number 7, and again, how many times, doing yourself when you coached youth, you don't have to put it through the back of the net. You just got to get it over the goal line.
Yep. I'm the dad of a striker that scored a lot in the women's game, and she was coached not by me, thankfully, but by other coaches that are always talking about get to the post, far post. You want to slot the ball gently. Sometimes you need power. In that case, he just needed a little finesse, and we wish we knew number 7's name.
He's putting on a show today, that's for sure. And here comes Invictus, and number 7 has it again on the left-hand side, waiting for his mates to come up to the edge of the box. Rolls over, puts it to the top of the 18, and it's going to be cleared by Chantilly. You look, how do you respond? I say that was a great response by Invictus. They didn't complain about the call. There wasn't much boisterousness on either side, but almost as if when Chantilly was celebrating, sometimes when you score, you got to settle in back in the game.
Yep.
There's still a lot of time left, and unfortunately for Chantilly, Invictus was playing while they were celebrating, and that was almost like the goal early on, 11 seconds into the FA Cup final for Man City today. And again, shot inside, number 7 again, and a big save by Patrick Ivanisic. And now, after that goal, I think it's awakened.
It's awakened Invictus for their offensive attack. Love the stop, Patrick. He's leaning a little to the left because, in my view, he's going to go, far post. Nope, he comes short post with a power shot, and just a beautiful, beautiful stretch save. He earned it. He earned his money on that shot.
Absolutely. Well,
on that save.
Following his Invictus, so Chantilly will get the ball, and it'll be a free kick from about, I'd say 2 yards from the center circle. Ball plopped in, held up with the wind, flicked around, but Invictus will get it. They'll set up back into the midfield, and one touch back out to number 7. Looking. Perrin puts some pressure on him. But again, you'll see that 4-2-3-1 setup for Invictus. Gets the ball up in just a few touches, and they have it again as Chantilly come back in their defensive shape, and there you go. Ball is intercepted. But here come Invictus with a nice outside of the foot curl up to number 7. And play tangled up. I don't think there's going to be anything but a goal kick. So after that goal, it looked as if early on Chantilly had the control in the game. But now if you look at number 10, Perrin for Chantilly, a couple of the other players, they're playing angry now. I don't know if they're angry that they gave up a goal, but it's a warm day. Just settle back in. If you're a coach, Coach Perrin, do what we do best.
That's exactly correct. And you could see, as this game goes on, we're going to watch these ebbs and flows. But the team that generally wins is what you had said. They take their lunch bucket, they take the results of each moment, and they just continue to do what they're supposed to be, what they were taught to do for that particular game. And that is probably the better way. The better way to play is don't get too high, don't get too low.
Absolutely. And, Chantilly absolutely is a lunch bucket kind of team, hailing from Hamilton, Ontario, much like my my home sweet home, Lackawanna, except their steel mills are still working. They're still punching the clock up there. Third corner of the game for Invictus. And I like what Invictus is doing, too. They're doing a lot of third-man runs, a lot of overlaps, which are making the space at the top of the 18, and Chantilly needs to cover in the inside the box. And if you look, Paul, too, and I'm sure you saw, they're moving the motion outside so they can create numbers on the top of the 6 there, and that's causing – they're exactly causing a little confusion for Chantilly.
Which many times when we're watching soccer – points that we'll bring up is that backside run. We see it open so often. Good teams will take advantage of that. And they're purposely, the chess match, right?
Right.
Invictus trying to move people right, so they open up to the left. It's such a beautiful, you know what? That's why it's called the beautiful game.
Absolutely. Now, Chantilly tries to get it up. It looked like that was number 18, Durasevich. Pete just couldn't get in. Ball quickly thrown in. And it looks like Coach Perrin's just trying to up it up. Not a lot of time in between throw-ins. The free kicks, they're not wasting an inordinate amount of time. as two players hit their feet. And it looks as if the Chantilly player, I don't know if he was admonishing a teammate or Mr. Kramer in the middle. But again, the emotions, it looks like Eric Vades was. It's a long drive for both of these teams.
Yes.
It's a home game for Hamilton, but I was talking to some of the youth parents. A nice 1-2 touch in, and for Chantilly, up to Perrin. Perrin can't control it. Out to Shaqiri. Shaqiri tries to get it in. That's Bromfield, I believe, our goal scorer. Brings it back again. Takes a shot as he was falling left-footed, and it'll be the first corner of the game.
Well, I just love that effort that he puts in, and as he's falling to his right, whipping that left leg out, that caught the keeper a little bit by surprise. That almost tucked into the near post.
Shaqiri will take the first corner of the match for Chantilly. Checking his mates, puts an arm up. Going to take a nice three-step approach. Line drive into the box. Cleared by Invictus. And gets it up to a waiting center forward. Looks like number 23. Name. Your guess is as good as ours. And a nice corner, and you'll see that happen a lot of times off a set play. You move everybody up, and you're exposed at the back. And another two-hand shove there. And Chantilly was exposed at the back.
They were fortunate that wind was so strong. We talked about it earlier. That ball just kind of pushed a little bit wide. Worked out for Chantilly. Invictus was probably going to be mad at the soccer gods for that.
Yeah, well, that's the way things work. Depends. The altar of the soccer gods can be a finicky place, that's for sure. Oh, ball bounces to Bromfield. He took a shot as he was trying to. Wow, look at that kick just get bent. And that was a nice line drive kick, and it curved maybe 12 to 14 feet before it hit the touchline. Battle on the side. Number 7 taken down. Think he drew the foul and perhaps a first down.
First thing I thought of myself was American football. You had sometimes that quarterback will grab that receiver and just take him to the ground.
It's what do you call that? Professional foul, right?
Yep.
Give up the foul 30 yards from the goal instead of inside the box. Maybe another time yellow. Maybe in the second half if the game's a little closer. But a little discussion there as to why that decision was made. Looks like Kramer's holding the people's court over there.
I think Mr. Kramer had the correct call there.
Yeah, he's playing Judge Wapner out there.
That looked like a horseshoe tackle in America.
I don't know who's Doug Llewellyn out there, but he's definitely Judge Wapner. So number 5 for Invictus will take this on the hypotenuse. Puts the ball in the box, and it's going to be blown to the side. Still kept in by Chantilly. Deflection. And the chip out to Bromfield. He can't get it. And he'll recycle back to the right-hand side. And Chantilly hits the midfield stripe. Looking. Oh, nice ball into the half space. Intended for Bromfield. But as soon as Bromfield gets the ball, and there's no there's no question as to who Chantilly's trying to get the ball into.
Yes.
Which means there's no question for Invictus. We talked about how passionate their coach is before the game. Same as Chantilly. And they're now doubling up. Anywhere that Bromfield goes, there are 2 yellow-clad Invictus players following him. I'll tell you, at halftime, if he has to go to the bathroom, I suppose there will be 2 men surrounding him there because he does. And after he got the foul for the goal, Bromfield, it's like Clark Kent in a phone booth because he cannot get there's no space for him to change into that Superman outfit.
No, we talked about the industrialization up, steel, all that, right? So I'm thinking Bromfield is a piece of steel, and the other players are magnetically drawn to him inside, outside, and sometimes inside, outside, in the middle. Invictus is doing everything they can do to stop him from being able to turn, set, and go. He likes to turn and really attack the net going forward.
Exactly, too. And it's going to be, is he going to be patient enough? You'll see that happen, again, fans of the Premier League. if you look at body type, he's maybe a little bit, he definitely is stocky, but maybe a little bit more in height than an Erling Haaland, right? Erling Haaland scores 50 goals this year, but he might be the most patient player out there. He waits, he'll make those backside runs, and you see that happen with Bromfield here. So now you can see as the ball pans over, he's trying to draw the defenders out and make some space and see if Chantilly can overlap, and there they go. He's got Shaqiri with him. And again, we've talked about this. You're going to see Bromfield fouled like that the entire game.
Yes, no, without a doubt. I wanted to see what the call was. Somebody might say he tripped him on purpose. I really think their feet got caught up. But it's a good call. But you're exactly right. It's going to be a physical game for Bromfield the entire time. It's really when I was looking at the size advantage he has over the defenders. He's a bigger man.
That's for sure. Ball popped into the top of the 18. Out, takes a shot, and it's deflected. Perhaps took that an opposing player cleat in the shin. But again, set play for Chantilly, and as soon as that ball bounds around a little, Invictus hits him on a counter, and that's about the fourth or fifth time that has happened. And here comes Invictus, slide tackle from behind, tit for tat. And the foul will be about the 32-yard line or so of the American football line there. Paul?
Yeah, I saw a little of the jersey getting tucked and then just spun around. So another good call, not over officiated, if you know what I mean. The referee's not going to go up and warn everybody. It was maybe what I would refer to as the dark arts.
Exactly. Ball, again, tried to chip in the top of the 18, but it's going to be headed and cleared up to Peter Jurcevic. Jurcevic tries to get it up to Bromfield. Bromfield tried to beat the Invictus defender 1v1, and that's a heck of a play. And now it's 2v1. And it looks as if another foul there.
Yeah, I think Bromfield put his hands up on
Yeah,
the shoulder
he did
and tugged back.
again. Yeah.
To your point about patience, I'm thinking about different players being patient. That is a tough trait for an aggressive player to have, but you're right, it's smart. That's the smart part of soccer. When to be physical, when to just lay back a little bit. We're going to watch Bromfield. You can tell he's getting a little
He's getting a little antsy up there.
Yeah.
Ball flicked on to number 7. Oh, and just went a little bit too far, but Invictus is at the top of the 18, and that's a smart keeper. You might not see a keeper with, the background of the players at this level. Sometimes you see a youth keeper kind of just hanging around the top of the 6. That's why the grass fields used to wear out right about there. But a keeper playing aggressively took that shot away from them. Ball in front, and a goal! Bounces around, and a left-footed shot by Invictus bends with the wind past the aforementioned Ivanišić, and 2-1 just that quickly. I was surprised, didn't see that happening. Bounced around, dangerous area, in that area 14, Jason Collinsworth always calls the goal zone, and it's 2-1 Invictus.
Yeah, I just loved it. Just a quick, you know what? I love watching left foot kicks. I don't know why, because probably I'm right-handed. So I'm right-hand dominated, but I love to see the players not try to drag the ball back to their primary foot. He just turned, whacked it, clinical shot. Now it's 1-1. Or I'm sorry, 2-1.
2-1 Invictus. Now that's 2 goals with the win. Now, if you're Coach Perrin, less than 10 minutes remaining here. We're in the 36th minute of the first half. Invictus up 2-1. A goal early. About 10 minutes in, 10th minute or so by Chantilly on a penalty kick. And since then, it's been, I would say, a majority of the goal chances inside the 18 have been Invictus. Chantilly's created a lot into the first 2/3 of the field. They've just had a hard time trying to solve that final third, that offensive third.
And isn't that the conundrum most teams have? How do we finish the play in the bottom third? The end, it's difficult. But as you were talking again, so Bromfield's up there. My recommendation at half. Okay, we're doing this so well. When we get that ball, but there's 3, they have man man up, drake the ball, bring it back. You're facing backward, just bring the ball back to one of the middies, spin, go see if you can get reconnected that way.
Exactly, and that was the word I was going to use here. Now, if you're looking, again, as Invictus comes in, right-footed chip and flick, and just cleared out by Chantilly, and Invictus will do a header in, battle on the left-hand side with Wedderburn. Now, you were talking about connection, all right, and this is one of the things I've noticed the last 20 minutes as opposed to the first 20 or 25. Trying to get the ball up to Bromfield, it seemed as if the midfield, Perrin and his attacking midfielders in that 4-2-3-1, there was maybe 15, 17 yards of space between the striker and his midfield. Now, it seems early on, almost if desperation. It would be as if Josh Allen's just throwing bombs to Gabe Davis on every play, hoping you'll get one to work. That has caused for a disconnect between the striker and the midfield, and that space is being won by Invictus.
And they're winning it with, man up, more people in that space than what Chantilly has. And, unfortunately, we see it on too many levels, professional on down, too much kickball.
Absolutely.
I want to possess that ball as much as possible.
Excuse me, but Chantilly, they don't have to panic. It's 2-1 with 50 minutes remaining, 57 minutes remaining. Fourth corner of the day for Invictus, and look at that ball bend in the wind. And we are in our plush broadcast facilities, so we are not out there. But if you can look at the American goalpost, the flags on the top aren't even taking a break. I think our sustained winds are easily over 20 with the way the English that's been put on the ball meteorologically out there.
So, we're talking about the wind. So now let's flip it into the next half. Now I'm not so against trying to push the ball down the field if I can get that the initial one-on-one with the Invictus center back. I think that might work better for Chantilly. In this half, going into that wind, I just like to see the ball go foot to foot, make those connections.
Perrin wins that one, tries to get it into Wedderburn. Wedderburn has it roll just out of his way, takes a bump by the Invictus right back, and the ball is out, and it looks as if it may be a corner. And again, give props to Perrin. Perrin trying to settle him down, all right, won a ball, waited for his mates to get up there, and he was able to create on the right side that chance on the left side. So second corner of the game for Chantilly. Chantilly wants to get some positive play in before the end of the half. And again, ball almost tried to volley out of the air by Perrin, but the wind pushes it off again. Bromfield tries to chip it in the box, but he's dispossessed. And here comes Invictus. That's number 7 again, chased by Bromfield. He'll try to recycle into the midfield. Ball nearly stolen by Chantilly. Little bumps in there.
I was going to say, and props to Mr. Perrin because he made me look like I was actually smart.
Yeah, listen, if I have a loose loony or toonie, we might have to pay off a few bets here. All right, Perrin's got it again, tries to chip it over the top. Looked as if he was trying to find Eric Vades coming up from his defender position. And again, we talked about that odd man run, right? So now it's the tale of numbers in the box. Can we get numerical superiority, whether it be 2v1, 3v2, 5v4? So you want to use that space. There's a ton of space out there.
And I tell a lot of people who are not familiar with soccer, think of it as a math problem. What we want is the defender 1, and then the triangle forms. You have 2 on 1, and wherever you can, that's the numbers up concept. So you're constantly trying to pass that ball to where you have 2 on 1 defender. Whoa. Easy to talk about, really hard to do.
Center referee lets that ball roll in. Hard challenge. Top of the 16, number 16 at the top of the 18. We have no names for Invictus. That's why we had to say that. But anyway, ball chipped in, and that was a tough one. That was like, you ever go see an April Buffalo Bisons game down at Pilot Field? and you get that wind off the lake and you see the right and left fielders. Well, that was Peter Evanisic right there.
Yes, because that ball was popped up into the wind. Probably should go over the crossbar, right? But the wind's pushing it down at the same time. So we're looking at home saying, oh, that's easy to do. Well, for the keeper who's right underneath there, that's a tough spot to be put in.
Corner number 5 for Invictus. And I'm here to say, on a normal day, it's something you work on all the time. A set play, not only offensively set plays corners, but defending corners. It's huge. If you can get those, when you get any chance to get the ball to stop in soccer, it's to your advantage. But here, they're shooting this ball in the air. Nobody knows where it's going. And that it's going to blow onto the top of the net. And again, you see, what's the advantage, offensively or defensively? That ball's plopped in the air there, and nobody knows where it's going to go. So definitely the weather has played a factor here. It's sunny, it's beautiful, but this wind definitely has put its stamp on this game so far. So, handball.
Yep.
And
sometimes we're seeing those now just inadvertent, let go. But
yeah, anybody's guess is anybody. So we're in the 43rd minute here, and there seems to be
a question with the ball. Nope. Yep.
We'll see. And
that must be like a Tom Brady ball that they imported.
Yeah, they could have, or I don't know. It depends on what's going on. UPSL uses their own brand here, and it looks like a brand new ball comes out, clean and white on this pitch, lumped down the field, looking for Bromfeld. Step, and he is Malachi crunched at the top of the 18. Call Fonzie, call Pinky Tuscadero, because he was Malachi crunched there, spun around, looked like Jimmy Snuka coming off the top rope, and
with those long legs, though, if that ball's just a little bit further in front of him, he might have connected with it.
Listen, he's fast and he's strong, but you're not going to see many players get up that way. He was almost offended that he's got stopped. So Bromfield, that you might have awakened the beast on that one. And albeit that was a great defensive play.
And it led to a great Happy Days reference.
Exactly. Ron Howard, if you're listening, thank you for all those Tuesday nights. Henry Winkler, same as. All right, ball chipped away, and it looks as if an Invictus player is in some sort of discomfort as we head to just into the 45th minute, so less than 1 minute remaining. Perhaps some added stoppage time.
That's the talk on the sidelines generally. We can get 2 minutes, 4 minutes. My wife, when we go to watch, we'll try to guess, and I'm always saying there wasn't any. Oh, there is stoppage. Okay, never mind.
There you go, and
she's right generally.
They just have that sixth sense.
Yes, she does. I'll tell you.
Yeah, you don't want that. You talk about origin stories, those wives' superpowers. Any husband will attest to that one. So a very dangerous. I would say more dangerous with this win. Ball. And tried to get underneath the wall they had set up. And Chantilly will try to get to halftime. 9 seconds of regulation time left. We'll see if any time is added. And it does not look like it. So, at the end of one half of play on Western New York Athletics, the home field Chantilly FC got on the board early with a PK. But 2 goals by the visiting Invictus FC brings their score at halftime, 2-1 advantage for Invictus. So we'll join you back in about 10 minutes or so. Thanks to Francis Beck here and Paul Catrona. It's been a great first half, and we'll see you back in about 10.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, large or small, call 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab right away. If you are in pain or just sore, don't take chances. Call RES today and take advantage of their 24 to 48-hour appointment pledge. With no copays, RES will help navigate the confusing world of no-fault insurance with you, so you can concentrate on getting better. 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab. The most important call you can make after an auto accident.
300 Level Media is a locally owned and operated multi-purpose media company right here in Western New York. You'll find us everywhere, covering the Bills, Sabres, Buttes, Bisons, Big Four basketball, local college sports, and much more. Our staff offers a variety of media services, from video production, live event coverage, audio broadcasts, professional voiceovers, camera operation, and videography. Visit www.300levelmedia.com or give us a call at 716-427-2600. This is 300 Level Media.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Call 835-WOLF. Remember, you calling the Wolf. That's all you had to say. Call today.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
Do you insure a lot of businesses?
Yes, we do.
How about restaurants?
We got a bunch.
Do you cover property damage?
Yes, we do.
How about my equipment?
Covered.
How about sewer backup?
We got it.
What if my cook gets hurt?
They're covered.
Foodborne illnesses?
Covered.
What if my party tent goes down?
Covered under property damage.
And you say this is all under one policy?
One policy.
When do I pay?
Once a month.
Just one time?
Just one.
Is there anything you don't cover?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
31.
Tables. We don't do tables.
Gotta love Buffalo.
For all your insurance questions, call the Wolf at 835-WOLF.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
Life can be full of surprises, but not always the good kind. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care, and we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today.
We are back for second half action here at Coyer Field on the sports complex of Buffalo State College. Rich Kozak, Paul Catrona, and Francis Beck on the controls flying this plane. And what we have before us, a good UPS battle that is developing in front of us. After one half of play, the home Chantilly FC only scored one on a PK, hard fought. And after that early strike, Invictus has come back for two. So at halftime with 45 minutes left, 2-1 for Invictus. And Paul, it's still either game because Mother Nature has been playing a factor. Now the heat rolls up on this plastic pitch, but the wind all game long coming out of the northeast has proven to be a factor.
It's a factor, and I talked about it a little bit just before halftime. I want to see what Chantilly does with the wind. They like to counter. They like to strike quickly with number 11 Broomfield. So will that play into their thinking? And then I was just thinking about Invictus. They like that game where they're going to control that ball, hold that ball. They like to keep it on the ground. Will that be a benefit? Will they be the benefactor going into the win now?
Vades tries to split the middle to get it up to Peter Jurcevic. He's dispossessed. Invictus tries to get it up, but it's going to be taken by Perrin. Perrin looking for an open mate. He gets it up, flip right back to him. Nice 1-2 play there with Tahiri. Tahiri back to Perrin. Found an open Brumfield. And again, as soon as he gets the ball, he doesn't not only have time to move, he doesn't have time to think. And it looks as if there's going to be a free kick for Chantilly very early on in this second half's first minute.
In a very dangerous area to have that free kick develop.
Again, now, if I'm Chantilly and if I'm the coach, Perrin, all right, and he's got to discuss what do we got to do at halftime? How do we break through? We talked about this early. Just do what you do best. And what I'm seeing, and I've watched a few games that we have broadcast, and this is my first time seeing live, play through number 10. He is the maestro out there. He conducts the rest. And if you use him as a pivot, he develops the game for everybody else. Number 10 on Chantilly makes every other player in a Chantilly jersey better. And that's going to be 1st and 10 on the 25 for Invictus.
I was going to say it's 3 points through the uprights. Going into the win now, they're going to have to get used to it. Don't get too far underneath the ball. You don't want it to rise too much. But I agree 100% from watching Chantilly. Perrin is the playmaker, the distributor. Bloomfield is the
he's the finisher.
Bromfield, I'm sorry, is the finisher. They work well and they coordinate well. That's the way I would run their offense. And then we're going to watch their defense right here, and I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, it's intercepted by Chantilly. It's going to be taken by Jurcevic. Over to the aforementioned Perrin. He'll go back whence he came. They're going to recycle this one. Going back to that free kick, I don't think that was what's intended because the body language of Perrin before the shot and then the talking that happened to his teammates after, I think there might have been some sort of set play. And with having so many players that are cycled in and out due to injury, I think someone didn't do something that, and halfway through that kick, he just decided to try to put that on frame. Ball lumped up the field for Bromfield. Bromfield gets it over to Jurcevic. Looking into the space to Bromfield. One touch out to Shaqiri. Shaqiri puts a move on the right-hand side, puts it into the box. It's going to be tipped up, and again on the counter, here come Invictus. Invictus, speedy midfielder. Ball just gets away from him. Again, going to be recycled back to Ivanisic.
So, Rich, that's why I love working with a coach, because internally on that free kick, I'm thinking you just don't want to try to, with this one, you don't want to just shoot at net. You want to put it on, keep it on the ground, push it to a player going forward. And I did notice that after you said that. You're right. He kind of changed his approach as he's coming up, so somebody didn't do what was anticipated.
Now, Invictus, they scored probably in the 41st minute or so. And how did it happen? Ball got in that box. We call it the money zone over at Frontier. Kind of bounced around. Can't be sure of how the ball is going to play with this wind. Takes a fortuitous bounce and a great left-footed strike, and it's 2-1. So it's going to be up to Chantilly. Can you get the ball into dangerous areas? We've seen as possession goes, and here goes Perrin. Perrin tries to get the ball to himself, and just again, ball blown out a bit too, just 6 inches too far. Perrin's a big boy.
Strong.
He is
big, strong,
his
broad-shouldered.
Quadriceps striated so that we could see it up here in the booth. And if he gets a step, and you don't often see a player of that physical stature who can do so many minute things well. He settles the ball.
Yep.
His vision is good. Usually a guy with that body is like, I'm just going to plow through guys. No, again, I like the name Maestro for it because he can conduct things out here.
And, as I said earlier, as a fan, I like to go to games, may not know anybody I'm watching, but as the game develops, who do I really enjoy watching? And he's just one of those guys, you can't take your eyes off of him. You're just wondering what he's going to do next. Bi-footed, strong, big guy, fast.
And again, Chantilly has to get away from the mindset that we have to make something happen now. 40 minutes left. Again, still, despite the score, if you break the fields in the defensive third, the middle third, the offensive third, by far, if we had an ability to get statistics in each area, if we're a high-budget production here, we would see decidedly so. Chantilly has the advantage of possession in their own defensive third. They get to the midfield, even though it's been kind of collisions after collision. I'm going to say mathematically they've had the advantage. Where it switched to Invictus and where the Chantilly gets away from controlling the ball and just trying to press and hope something happens instead of create right at that edge of that final third. They're trying so hard to get it to Bromfield. If Invictus knows that, well, mathematically, there's got to be a couple Chantilly players open, and that's what the Maestro Perrin has to find.
That's right. I might refer to it as the tic-tac-toe effect, right? He's going to have to connect with a player that is over on that backside, or maybe somebody who's going. He's very good at through balls also. So find that other runner that's coming up straight up there. And, if it's not there, turn, bring it back, and reset it. I've said it before, I like possession.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to go direct to goal every single time because so many times you're forcing it, and that's that unforced error. The ball comes back the other direction.
And that is where Invictus has been dangerous. Their coach, we talked to him before, Alan Jisic, he knows what's going to happen. The Bosnian international, he's a student of the game also. And he told us before the game, they're not as big as they are. We can't get into that battle in the midfield. But if we can counter on them, and that's exactly what they've done. So can Coach Perrin have his Chantilly charges, hey, settle down, guys. Let's get the space, because in the game's first 20, 25 minutes, that's what created the penalty kick. That got him into those dangerous spaces. But since then, get to that top of the 18 and then lose the ball, and then it just becomes like physically taxing when you don't have a short bench.
That's the key right there. They have a very short bench, and they can tire out more easily by expelling, using up all their energy, their emotional energy, their physical energy. This is a long field, 120 yards, and it's probably
75 yards wide. Yeah.
Right. It's a big space. So if you use up all that energy in the first 20 minutes, it's tough to maintain and get some extra goals and walk away with a victory. So, as you said, let's use our brains. Let's see who we can find and find that open man and maybe tie this game up.
Ball's going to be scooped up by Chantilly keeper Patrick Ivanisic. Gets it out to the left-hand side. Let's see what Chantilly can create. Ball played in back to Jurcevic. Again, back to the center back. That's number 5, Joel Marinas. He's going to try to get it up. And again, that's the wind disadvantage. I believe they were trying to get the ball up to Wedderburn, and just a step out. Oh, nice move there. Bromfield brings it back whence he came. Right-hand side, chips it in. It's going to be scooped up by the Invictus keeper. And we were talking about if you're going to rely on the long ball, it makes it doubly difficult because the wind and the turf, well, triply difficult. Not only the ability to do it, but the wind has been pushing the ball. It rolls without much inertia on the turf, and to try to find that player down the field. Taken by Shaqiri. Shaqiri gets it over to Tahiri. Dispossessed. Ball intercepted. That's Ahmed Mohammed, who's been a stalwart back there. He gets the ball up to Tahiri. Tahiri tries to get it into Bromfield. Bromfield gets it back once again, but he's under duress from the backside. And it looks as if, Perrin almost had it. Gets it up to Bromfield. Bromfield has Perrin with him. Gets it up to Perrin. Back to Bromfield. Takes the long shot, and I think Bromfield, if he could watch it on our monitors, he might have taken another step or two. He rushed that one. No need to. But, again, go back to the chess game.
Yeah.
Because of the endless and relentless defensive pressure, the physical play, that internal clock that Bromfield has set for this game is now just sped up. So even though he didn't have two men on him, in the back of his head, they're going to be right on me. They're going to be right on me. And they weren't.
And I really wish he would have pushed it just into space, let Shaqiri run onto it, finish off his run, and then he's going to get that ball back from Shaqiri.
Nice move by number 7. Ball put in and over the touchline. And again, one of those players you like to pay to watch the play. You just want to be entertained. Wish we had his name on here. We don't know exact. Numbers on a roster are kind of important, especially when you're broadcasting a game. But that 7, the right midfielder, he's an absolute stud. And again, Chantilly will get it back again. And you can see that Invictus is pressing a little bit less. And I think they have a short bench also. They've been playing a very high press, very, very aggressive game. And as the game starts to move along, the human body only has so much energy to expend. They're letting Chantilly build up. And it looked as if at time they're almost, I wouldn't, I don't want to offend anybody here, but from the 4-2-3-1, they're bringing one of those holding midfielders back to almost a stopper sweeper kind. And I wouldn't call it parking the bus right now, but a 2-1 win to drive home from Buffalo with, they would be happy with.
It would taste sweet, right?
Right. So Chantilly's going to have to try to solve that one.
It's another way. I was thinking of what you were saying. They're actually inviting that attack to come in the way they're doing it, the way Chantilly's doing it, because Invictus is constantly having man up. So there's less chance that Chantilly can break that and get a quick goal on a counter. So once again, guys, if you could hear us, hold on to that ball a little.
All right, into Bromfield. Bromfield 1v1. He's on the top of the 18. Dangerous area, and, just poked over the crossbar. Much to the chagrin of Mr. Bromfield. Had a bit more space, and I think he, again, indecisive about what he wanted to do. Did he want to curl it on the ground? And he tried to chip a keeper, perhaps a bit more diminutive than what we've seen at this level, and that ball with the wind sailed over the crossbar, and all that comes out of that great show is another goal kick.
Another goal kick, and making me eat a few words, but I'll still hold true to what I've been saying, and I thought exactly the same as you. I would have tried to just keep it on the ground, go for far post, perhaps even just keep the ball, step back into the goal, into the middle of the field, and try to slot that into the net.
Nice ball won by Tahiri. Flicks it out to Bromfield. Ball, square pass, and those are always dangerous to be intercepted. Intended for Bromfield from Wedderburn, and Wedderburn saw it. Now combination with Perrin and Wedderburn. Roll over, try to find Perrin on an overlap, and it's going to be a throw-in for Chantilly. And again, like you said, Perrin with a nice back heel, gets to the top of the 18, try to find Bromfield. He has it. He can't turn, takes a bump, and lumped up the field. And again, you're going to see it's becoming obvious now. Invictus more than happy to take this 2-1 lead where they are right now. Perhaps they're being told to break up the second half into different time zones. First 15 minutes we do this. Second 15 minutes we'll take the pressure. Last 15 minutes, because you can't win a game any more than by one. You can score 12. You can score 15. You only get 3 points, and that's what they're looking for. Can Chantilly solve it? We've said the Perrin, the Maestro out there. He's been trying to find Wedderburn. He's been trying to find Bromfield. I'm going to be looking for Shaqiri on the left-hand side because he has been like the Maytag repairman out there, the loneliest guy on the field. Bromfield has it. He's got he had Shaqiri wide open. Shaqiri on the top of the 18. And if you know anything about male-dominated sports, the look that Shaqiri gave to Bromfield about why didn't you pass me the ball? But perhaps at this juncture of his career, he couldn't say that out loud. And I see the talk. See, look at they're still going at it right now. Like, excuse me, sir, but I was wide open.
You know, you're fighting that striker mentality. He just wants to get that ball off his foot onto frame. But in that instance, please, for everything that's great about this game, just a little left
slot
foot.
It up and
slot it in, and you have, one on goal.
And if you look, Shaqiri now, who has left the left-hand side there, he has been open this entire second half. And ball up, a little bit too far for Bromfield. Going to be taken back into the 18 where I'm sure it's going to be picked up. But again, you can see because of the ball has now Chantilly, I would say they were equidistant between the touch lines in the first half. This second half, they've definitely been a right-handed team. So Shaqiri has it, tries to slot it into Jurnovic. Peter gets it back to Shaqiri. Shaqiri puts it in the box, tried to feed it to Bromfield. Clearance couldn't get through. Pete has it. Overlap to Vades. Brings it back to the top of the box. Still has the ball. Sprayed over to Wedderburn. Wedderburn tries to get it in, and a ball just unable to find its intended target. But Chantilly trying to speed up now every free kick, every throw-in. They're just trying to do it a little bit quicker, but it looks as if there's going to be a substitution. Invictus, and I'm sure the person on the PA has no numbers on their roster either.
But they only have one more player in reserve. So, these guys are tired. And what you said before, I just thought was so smart, probably breaking up this half. And I'm expecting the final third of this half, we might see Invictus get a little bit more offensive-minded, maybe on a counter.
Absolutely. It's worked for them before. That's actually helped them develop their 2 goals. To get that ball when Chantilly has been pushing up. Chantilly wants to get 3 points today. That's their goal. They want to end this season on a very high note, and they're going to press because that's one thing they need to do. They need to score. And now, to tie this game up, they need to score. So they'll become a little bit more desperate. When they open up the back, can Invictus strike back?
Advantage.
Exactly.
Put the game away, basically. I mean, the game's put away if you win 2-1, but we all know what we're talking about. They want that third. It just feels better to have the 3.
That insurance goal.
Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, too, and you have to watch out. And how many hundreds of games have you watched? Sometimes when you get a little hungry going for that insurance goal, that's when you open up at the back. It's the chess match we talked about, the ebb and flow. You think, I guess any sport ball game, but soccer, people think it's about a ball in a net. It's really about time and space and opportunity.
Time, space, opportunity, exactly correct. It's a great way to put it. We can see your coaching lineage there because you're bringing it forward as a coach who has seen probably thousands of games.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you get to this juncture of age, I would say. All right, number 12, that's Abdullah. Abdullah tries to get it up to number 8, Shaqiri, and he takes a bump, and Shaqiri's going to win it before. And that's where, sorry about that call there, the yellow soccer line on the orange Bengals end zone. We weren't able to tell from our vantage point. You know, you look at this, and again, you know, it's God's cruel trick to a sportsman, right? When you finally get smart enough to play a game, he makes your body too old to play it.
To play, right. Perfect. I said to somebody earlier, I just would like to play one game of every sport I watch. Just one more.
Just one more.
Just one more.
At the if your body would allow you to play, and nice. Oh, good ball, almost put in by Perrin. Perrin looking for Wedderburn, but he came in studs up on that one. He might get a talking to from the center referee.
Yeah, but I think that's what we're going to see at the moment.
And I think, too, go back to the center referee. This is where referee Kramer, looking at the time, 25 and a half remaining. He knows in a 2-1 game, it's going to, I wouldn't call it chippy. It's going to get physical out there. So by settling it down, giving the guys go back, hey, he knows the kind of player Perrin is, settles it down, and it gives everyone on this pitch, including the 4 officials, a little bit of time to gather themselves. Ball in to number 11, Bromfield. Bromfield tries to chip it up to Ivanesic. He's got it, puts it back, and just out. And again, that's with this wind here. On a day that's a bit calmer, perhaps that just falls to the feet of the intended player. Chantilly again. Oh, nice move there. Tried to get it up to number 7. 7, he's been a tough one. The ball just gets away from him. Ivanesic gets it.
Great body positioning on 16. Boy, we wish we knew their names, because I just looked at that going, to a person who doesn't understand, or maybe my level of understanding. We talked about space, time. He just turned his body inside, got the ball, the defender behind him, pushed it open to the open man, and made it for the opportunity.
And here comes Invictus on, it's going to be called on the offside. A flag is up. Kramer has not yet seen it. And now we're under 24 minutes remaining here in the second half. Chantilly, again, control in the defensive and center third. But again, the same mistake is being made at the continually once they hit the edge of the offensive third. Now, when we're coaching, I try to tell the kids, soccer's like, if you're a Marvel fan, it's like the inside of Tony Stark's helmet. Jarvis is constantly computing what are the probabilities and chances. And that's what you have to do when you're a soccer player. There's no play. We don't run, for 4 seconds and then talk about it for 30 and run 4 more seconds. It's a constant ebb and flow. That's why especially you'll see at the female game, you'll get so many high school basketball players that are standouts at the female soccer level because it's almost the same. The human body can only do so much. Chantilly trying to find some space to get to the top of the 18. And it looks as like the Invictus player who went down for the challenge is holding, if I remember my anatomy, just above his sacrum. And this might be something.
Wherever that is, it sounds very, you don't want to hurt that.
I think, yeah. For those, we have a Canadian team. So if they speak French, I would say it's just an inch or so above your derriere. So that's where the sacrum would be.
And I love the point about on the highest levels of soccer, every player is taught you have 3 choices to make. And through film study, through constant coaching, those players evaluate every single time they get rid of the ball. I'm not saying they always make the best move, but what is the play that's going to, the kick that's going to give me the chance, the greatest chance.
Exactly, and that one, almost a big chance there. Ball lofted into the rather statuesque Bromfeld. He gets a head on it, but it just falls right into the solar plexus of the Invictus FC keeper. We talked about that, and I'm sure these guys at these levels, we looked at them warm up. I mean, Chantilly's a good team, right? But then you got a little bit of hubris in there, right? These guys want to be the guy. They want to be the one. They know what they can do. They've done it dozens of times the exact same way. So you think you can go back to that same bag of tricks. So what can they figure out that's going to be different? Pete couldn't win the header there. And now Invictus has possession, gets it to the center mid striker, Would be easier if we knew their names, but ball back-heeled over to number 7, and he's going to be caught on the offside.
So to your point, though, that's perfect analogies. I can do this. I can run the 100 in 10 seconds.
Right.
I can jump 15 feet high, whatever it might be. When you're in this type of an environment, what can I do to the best of my ability that helps my teammate next to me or down the field? And it may not be what I normally will do, but I can use those skills to create that play. And that's where you make those fantastic plays. Nobody could see it coming, but of course the athlete knew it because he knew what he's capable of actually doing.
I remember years ago, and unfortunately Perrin went down he took a challenge from the Invictus player, and it looks as if his left shin, perhaps left calf there. You talked about the athlete, and, there's the mind of the athlete, and then there's the heart of the athlete that often, battles. That's the argument between the two. And I remember probably in his Manchester United years with Cristiano Ronaldo, and they did a sports science on him. Like the things that he does, he's just a world-class athlete.
It's unbelievable, right?
And they put him, they were doing crosses in the dark, and he was still able to find the ball on the header after the sound of where it should be. And it's repetition. I know you often work with in your girls, and they're themselves, Jason Collinsworth. I love reading his stuff. I love seeing his videos with the training. And he always talks about culture. I mean, that's what Chantilly is trying to build. I was talking to some of their parents that came in for the youth game before, and I knew it was youth soccer game, Francis, from the amount of Land Rovers, Mercedes-Benz, and BMWs in the pocket are only at youth soccer games in America. But anyway, I digress. And, he talks about building the culture. The touches here aren't made in 2 hour-and-a-half practices at 6 p.m.
No.
These decisions aren't made when your parents can take you. And the Chantilly parents were talking, they are the place to go in Hamilton, Ontario, Southern Ontario. They're here for development. Do they want their men's team in their first step up at this level to win? Absolutely. But talking to Coach Perrin, they're playing the long game. Do they want to entertain people? This is here. You want to show, and we talked at halftime about what different clubs want to do in Buffalo. Bring the kids out, and you can see them down here with their flags, because one day they want to play on this team.
That's exactly right.
So win, lose, or draw, you know what? These kids aren't going to remember. They're going to remember the good time they played. They're going to marry. That's why in soccer you put the crest over your heart. All right, and that's what Chantilly's trying to do. Ball bounces in the box, deflected, and I think it's going to be a corner for Chantilly with 18 minutes left.
So, Rich, I'll give a shout-out to my daughter, very good women's player, blah, 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 blah. People said, how'd you get her to be so good? I didn't. She took her ball to the bus stop. She took her ball to school. Get home, worked. We have a house with a lot of windows in front. I replaced a lot of glass over the years because she would shoot towards the porch.
Ball in, just deflected wide. Could be another. Well, that would have been the third corner. Very dangerous. It's going to be the fourth corner now. As we were talking here, and the ball just rocketed in, and I don't know if it took a deflection beforehand.
And so to finish those thoughts, wintertime, we could afford turf out of my basement. We got a
Though
rug.
some parents can now. I'm on Snapchat and TikTok.
They can, but you know what I recommend? Get a 3x3 piece of rug.
Absolutely. You know what? Back in Lackawanna, we couldn't even afford the 3x3. We only had it. We just imagined that we had the 3x3.
Well, if anybody came down my basement, her ladder is still taped to the floor. Because we couldn't afford a ladder when we had a big family. And my other daughters also played sports and did the same kind of training. They trained with what they had. It's not you have the best of everything. I laugh sometimes because in America, we have the best of everything.
I've been to the U.S. soccer conventions when they're selling hula hoops and calling them rondo rings. Yes, I've been.
Right, so it's unbelievable, but these poorer countries that have dominant soccer programs, and the kid grew up What's that? That's not a ball. Oh no, that's a cow's stomach.
A bladder,
right?
yeah, or
a bladder.
plastic bags put together. Same thing too. You know, what people ask, like, yeah, you're a coach, that's why your kids are good. No, look at the broken boards on the fence that I haven't fixed from 15 years ago. Well,
so you walk that same walk.
Yeah.
And that's how players get better, and that's why when we're talking about Chantilly and the coach's vision, when we talk to them, it's about getting better incrementally so that you can have long-term success. And there's no shortcut to it.
Well, we're going to see. We talked about things that need to be fixed. Well, something that has to be solved here is, can Chantilly get one goal to put a draw here, at least get 1 point here in Buffalo? Thrown in. Nice set play. Tried to get into the box, but it's going to be headed out by Invictus, and a ball skied over the top. And again, that's the difference between the heart battling the mind. You know, I can get that in there. It'll be a highlight goal, you know, and I'll tell my players, I'm not a big fan of the cross. I like working them into the channels. Crosses are 100% of the highlights, 1.78% of the goals. That's why they're highlights.
I'm so glad you brought it up, because even on corners, I've talked to many coaches, through different to anybody asking questions, because I want to learn about this game more. Why do we do the same thing over and over and over? Something as silly as when a keeper picks up the ball, I want to know, can they train them to actually just get it, go, and kick the ball down the field to a player that's running already? And I talked to a very famous coach in New Jersey, but he's a high-level NCAA men's or women's coach. And he goes, it's funny you said that. We practice that all the time in practice. We try to bring it into the game. It's situational. But he goes, it's funny you'd mention that, because a lot of people just think, just get the ball, kick the ball down the field, and see where it lands.
And then they wait for the bounce, and we go over. So you can see here, number 8, we talked about him, Shaqiri. Shaqiri gave a forearm into number 12, I believe. And, again, Shaqiri's getting frustrated, and he's being told, if you want to keep it up, keep the filibuster up, we can get you an early seat on the side there. 14 minutes left remaining here in Buffalo. Chantilly trying their hardest, and you can see the passion that's happening on here. They've had a good game plan. Problem is, Invictus have given up 66% of the field to stop the 1/3 of the field where Chantilly could be the most dangerous. Probably, other than number 7, the most accomplished finisher on this field is wearing number 11 for Chantilly, but they've made it almost impossible for Chantilly to feed him the ball.
And Shaqiri's case too, I go, he's got the heart of a lion, but sometimes, as we've talked about, you just gotta hold on. Don't get caught up in the emotion of it, because, as you said, that filibuster, you could see the center referee. He's not here to listen to the players yap at him. He just wants it calmed down, because it's about player safety, really.
Now, again, we're both possession kind of guys, but this is with the wind. The second ball becomes important here. Now, number 14, Ahmed Mohamed's going to try to get this ball in. Can you win the first ball? Can you control the second ball? Ball sprayed into the top of the 18, flicked over everyone's head. And again, whoa. And I don't think there was any contact there, but I think that was, again, Shaqiri. He was baited into the move, similar to what we saw up on the top to number 7.
Yes.
Shield with your body. He thought he's zigging when he zagged and was able to get that space, and the turf monster got Shaqiri at the end.
Very, very true, because all he did was he really just slipped on that field.
It was just a feint.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
So 12 minutes remaining here. Ball hit up into the middle. And, again, I'm surprised Invictus is playing long, because their keeper's having a hard time goal kicking. Ball through to the top. Invictus has it, but put on once again. Perhaps not the best decision to be made there. But, again, enough press to get the ball out to the right-hand side. And the ball still kept in. Nice play by Wedderburn. Again, try to find Bromfeld. And again, I would like to see in the last 10 minutes, perhaps, use Bromfeld as a decoy, because Shaqiri's been open on the overlap. Perrin's been open. And again, not to say what the decisions they're doing are wrong, but you can often just keep working harder doing the wrong things. Doesn't mean, the heart of a lion. But if you're chasing the gazelle you can't catch, maybe go to the slower gazelle.
Go to the slower animal. I like that.
Yeah, it's just there's other ways to do it. What's easier to go through, an open door or closed door? I mean, it's great if you can break through it, but wall and door pretty much undefeated.
Well, you were talking also about Invictus pushing that ball up, and when you said that, I did take a quick peek behind. And, they had 4 defenders just strung across the back. There was a lot of space in the midfield that was wide open. But they're doing their best to put pressure on but still keep their defensive shape in place so they don't get caught back on a counter play.
Ball put into Bromfield. Back to Abdullah. Abdullah tries to get it. I believe that's Pete on the right-hand side. Tries to get it into Bromfield. He's all alone. Chips and a goal! Oh, they're going to say no? They're going to call a handball on that one? There's going to be some discussion. The ball come out. Is it an offside call? Was it an offensive foul? I don't know. This is where I wish we had replay capabilities.
Well, I'd like to see it on replay. It didn't look offsides to me, but
I thought originally it might have been a handball. The kind of awkward movement the ball had to come back up to Bromfeld, as Piran has it.
Well, I will say this: our brother over, who's the PA announcer, he did not agree with that call. And he boisterously said that was a goal.
I would believe that we would be copacetic with that decision there. Absolutely. Well, we talked about that, and Paul, sorry, I didn't mean to step on your thought there, but it looks exactly what Coach Jusic did for Invictus. It's becoming more obvious that they have broken up this half into 3 distinct parts because they've had a different style for each of the 15 minutes. And remember, you talked about it maybe about 25 minutes ago, what they would try to do for the last 15, and now they're starting. They've taken the punches and starting to take the game back to Chantilly. Shaqiri has it, tries to get it to Abdullah. Shaqiri tried to find Broomfeld. He couldn't do it. Ball up. And can Shaqiri win this battle? Ball gets back to the keeper, and he huffs it down the field.
And I do love to see the keepers be engaged, come off that line. Some people might say, oh, my God, he's so fast. Yeah, but you know what? He was the one who was closest to that ball to be able to clear it out.
I don't want to be someone who could be considered stature phobic, but during the pregame when we were down speaking to both of these teams, young man playing keeper for Invictus came over, and I looked at him, and they had the warm-up rondo possession game. And he's like, can we have a ball? I'm like, well, I'm a media guy and stuff. And I looked, and I'm like, this is the keeper? People who are my side. Oh, ball played back at the zone 14 and just sprayed wide. And I'm like, wow, at this level, this is the stature of the keeper? Watching this kid here, it's not about your size. It's about the angles. And he has thwarted a guy that's a good 10 inches taller than him by playing those angles.
When my daughter was younger, unfortunately she didn't get to play at Colgate because of an ACL. However, Colgate had a young woman from Rochester who was a keeper at a D1 level with unbelievable statistics. She was about 5'3". And in the women's game, I know women might not be as tall as men generally. 5'3" is still very, very
right. It's diminutive.
Small.
Yeah.
She was that good. She was that quick. She was that good with her spacing. Sometimes the height is a little beguiling.
Absolutely. And, speaking of beguiling, less than 7 minutes left to take that stain away from Chantilly. They've passed frustration about being solved time and time again. Now it's, can they put the final push? They've had a deeper bench. Now becomes mano a mano. I hate, if you have your bingo board of cliched American soccer sayings, who wants it more? Well, 6.5 minutes left. It's a long ride home for either of these teams. 1 point, 3 points. You want to have some positivity coming in here. Again, another step over for Invictus. And they'll be willing to take time. Well, again, they give the ball up. That's number 4, who's not on our roster for Chantilly. Ball sprayed into Invictus. And that's going to be Ahmed Mohammed.
And, props to Mohammed. I'd like to mention him throughout the game because I always believe defenders.
He's a rock back there.
Yeah, they don't get their just due, but he is a rock. He's a very physical player, knows how to use his body well. Strong leg, as we just seen.
Ooh! And that was a big shot on Shaqiri. That might have been a Karuba collision right there. We can make up.
We can do commercials
make up
without being
advertisements,
paid, right?
Because it's businesses that don't really exist anymore. So, wow, right there, that would have been insert your local car collision repair place right there. Listen, I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to say his high school and college eligibility may be over, but Mr. Shaqiri, anytime you want to kind of play down in Hamburg, if you have any high school, but I'll take your guy with your heart any day. I'm loving number 8 right there. Mohammed gets it to the top of the 18, headed, and it's going to be a goal kick for Invictus. And this is where the ball boys, instead of sitting on the bench, and you've seen Jose Mourinho do this, Jurgen Klopp's done it. They work with the ball boys when to throw the balls in.
Take your time.
But now to have a ball boy here might have been really good because Invictus, the keeper, we don't know who the names are because we don't have any numbers on there, but I can't tell if he's going to get the ball for a goal kick or he's waiting for the number 3 Grant bus, Metro bus to come by.
I would think the latter of the two. And since it's a Saturday, he might be waiting a long time.
Absolutely. As we're waiting for this goal kick, I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully this game's not over yet, but what great up as Perrin gets it, tries to flick it up to himself. It's going to be dispossessed, taken back once they came, and a nice bit of one-touch soccer to get that ball down the field. I've had a great time. Remember this game of Chantilly Forever FC Soccer is brought to you by DSM Aluminum, Riviera Electrical Contractor Incorporated, Flynn Canada Roofing, Set in Stone, and Tarcon Construction. Thanks so much for our Canadian brethren. Listen, I grew up watching CHCH TV 11. Dick Beddoes on sports, serving Hamilton and the Niagara Peninsula.
And I was thinking I got to watch Lost in Space a day early.
Oh, I loved it. Days of Our Lives early. I mean, and this is not, I'm not embellishing, folks. CHCH TV 11 was one of those stations that if we would wrap the rabbit ears in aluminum foil.
You did that too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And Lackawanna being closer to the lake, CHCH was, I was one of the people in the 80s when 11 was taken off our cable and TBS was put on. Love my friends in Hamilton. Rich Kozak here, longtime Hamilton Tiger Cat season ticket holder, going back to when Danny McManus got the Grey Cup in 96. Oh, man, what a great time for, 99 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Go way back to Angelo Mosca, number 68, RIP. But 2:34 here, 2:35, and I'm wondering if the center official.
I don't think they never stopped that clock, so I'm at 5 minutes.
5 minutes here, so I'm seeing if there's going to be extra added time. So I have no idea how much time is left. We have some disconnect between the referee time, but there have been, I wouldn't call them injuries, but there has been some stoppage here, and there was maybe 10 seconds of stoppage time added on to the end of the first half. So a very important free kick. Invictus trying to hold the 18. Chantilly trying to find that second ball. Lofted short. But it's going to be taken there by Mohammed. Mohammed puts a positive touch into the edge of the box. And it's going to be taken by Bromfeld, even though some bodies were hitting the floor. Bromfeld puts it up again. He's got players open in the 18. Oh, on the 6-yard line. or 6-yard box, excuse me, mixed metaphors or mixed sporting metaphors. You know, I know Bromfield wants to score. He had 3 Chantilly players lined up waiting in what we call the money zone. It's so very hard. Defenders will ball watch, even the best ones. He had 3 players on them because why wouldn't you? He's, Troy Bromfield.
Yes.
He had 3 players.
But again, just push the ball sideways. Good things will happen in that situation.
Ball taken on Shaqiri. Tried to get open, and again, the keeper from Invictus will try to take any time off this clock. We'll have to see what we have available here. Could be a minute left, could be 4 minutes left. Has Kramer added any stoppage time? We don't know. Perrin gets it back again. And look for Invictus to foul if anything gets remotely dangerous. Ball into Bromfield, and he's brought down in the box. And are they going to call a PK?
Yes.
Oh, my. Here we go, folks.
Wow.
With less than 20 seconds, allegedly, of of regulation time before stoppage time, he scored on one already, a cheeky goal. Now, number 11, Troy Bromfield, has a chance to send Chantilly Forever FC back up the Queen E with a point salvaged in Buffalo. This will probably be more than likely the last gasp of air for Chantilly. The pressure mounting on the keeper, on Mr. Bromfield, on the Chantilly Forever faithful. 2 quick steps taken at a 45-degree angle away from this ball. Players lined up on the edge of the 18. Both ARs up there to see that there is no encroachment. And now Bromfield, I don't like this ball. He's taking too long in his thoughts right here.
So power versus finesse.
We'll see what happens here. 6'4". Bromfield against 5'9" keeper. A lot of space in that 8x24 net. We're in stoppage time. Chantilly, can they salvage another 2-2 draw? 2-1 right now. Would be heartbreaking for Invictus. Steps up, Bromfield shoots and scores! It's a goal, and we're all tied up here in Buffalo.
Well, that was a buddy shot.
And that looks as if it would be the final whistle. We do not know. In soccer, these final horns don't. But how calmly did Bromfield step up? Oh yes, it was. He put it in there. Different form. First one he chipped it over the keeper. Second time.
Interestingly, the keeper stayed his space. He didn't really go left, go right. That nice, really nice, hard shot to the and low to the left post. I just said to myself, that's a money shot. That's a lot of pressure.
And now here we go again. It's going to be Bromfield 1v1 versus the keeper, and that ball's near the net. Shaqiri has a chance. Bromfield turns, and he scores, and it's a goal. Holy cow, unpredictable in stoppage time. Chantilly Forever gets the ball into the box, much to the chagrin of the Invictus FC team. They're now looking at the AR. The center referee gets over to the AR. I'm probably blowing out all levels here on our box. And hopefully we could see later on the replay. And are they going to say it's a goal?
Goal. He's coming. I think he's going to tell both coaches. For Invictus, they're going to watch that replay over and over and say absolutely not. Chantilly's going to say life is sweet.
We'll see what happens here. This is where I wish we had Dr. John Pluta, our sideline reporter. Center official Kramer's trying to explain to both coaches exactly what happened. Right now, we're still 2-2 deep into stoppage time here at Correa Field at Buffalo State. Chantilly Forever tied it up at the death. Invictus got the ball back. A miscue on their back line, intercepted by Chantilly. And now
the ball's been put in play. No?
And I don't understand why that ball would be coming down on this end of the field after an apparent goal. So we talked about conundrums and enigmas right here. Well, a riddle is being written by center referee Mr. Kramer, because now the ball, it looks as like everything that happened leading up to the goal was nil, and the goal has been wiped off the board.
So
I'm
trying to think there was a whistle, perhaps, or.
But now we have a hard time. We're in an enclosed booth, which is a wonderful addition to have. We have some here, but I couldn't hear anything. I'm looking down. Assistant AR Jeff Praval didn't have a flag up. Shaqiri has it, but he can't handle the ball. So after that boisterous call that I just finished, it goes all for naught, but we are still deep into stoppage time. At least 4 minutes, at least according to what's on the screen here. Our producer, Francis Beck, still says we might be maybe a minute left into extra time. Ball on and wide.
Well, I have been noting that the center referee continues to look at his watch. It must be very, very close, really, till the whistle. He just checked it again. It'll be, boy, we wish we could interview him and say, just explain that call.
The thought process. Perrin gets it at the midfield stripe. Gets it out.
I mean, we don't want to see either team win in a
Yeah, I mean,
in an untrue way, but that happened so quickly.
I mean, there were and here comes Invictus inside the box and dispossessed shot over the top of the net. Folks, I don't know how many people are watching out there right now, but I hope you have had as much fun watching us delivering the game. This is the kind of game, guys, Buffalo is soccer rich. It has such a potential to be a soccer town. We have 4 top-level teams, men's, in the area. We have 2 top-level women's teams. We have 2 teams coming in from Southern Ontario playing at Buff State at regular basis. If you want your young kids to come out, Chantilly Forever is here. The other teams, the Gunners, my beloved FCY New York are here. I mean, come on out. There's more than ample opportunity to see a game played at a higher level than just, your kids' U10 or U12 level. Let's build this soccer culture right here. I mean, this game is as good as any you're going to see on television today, and it was a good effort.
Fantastic game. Really a fantastic game.
So we are deep into stoppage time. Ball dispossessed. And here come Invictus, and a ball, Invictus, by themselves, slotted in, and an instep save, the sole of the keeper's foot, who is a good 4 yards out of the 18-yard box, and Mr. Kramer seems unwilling to end this match.
I'd really have looking at that and think a simple chip over
the top.
But the only place you can't kick that ball was exactly where
he kicked
did.
it.
There's the soccer gods try to play with our minds here.
Exactly. The fickle feet of fortune.
But what a great, for a keeper, falling backwards, keeping the presence of mind, get that foot sideways, it knocks the ball clear.
Chantilly FC out to Perrin. Perrin has it. Tries to get it to, I believe that's Wedderburn. Actually, that was Vades. Ball in the air. Chantilly will try to put it down the field, and the wind is going to carry it too far to the Invictus keeper, who puts it right into touch. Out to 24 for Invictus from the right back spot, and here he comes with a nice burst, a couple nice moves, gets it in, backheeled, pretty in front, and what a save by the keeper. What a good bit of football there by Invictus.
Wasn't that a wonderful
save? That was fun to watch, and what a save by Patrick Ivanisic. But that's going to bring up the 6th corner of the game for Invictus. This will be a left-footed bending shot deep into stoppage time to the top of the 18, out, can't get away. And now it's going to be try to recycled. How much time is left? The only person we know that actually knows what time is left is Mr. Kramer, the center referee. Ball flicked over the top. Vades has it. Step over, back to the keeper. He'll put it up the right-hand side, not quite out. Still kept in by Invictus. Sliding attempt by Perrin. Nope, they're going to say that ball was originally out, and it's going to be a throw-in for Invictus.
And we wish we'd number 7's name. He did everything correct. He's got that 45-degree angle coming across the face of the net. That ball's going in.
I mean, who do we give man of the match? I mean, 2 PKs for Bromfield, but Ivanisic, he's been fantastic. Perrin's been fantastic. Shaqiri's been fantastic. And number 7 for Infinity has just been outstanding. I also like number 24 for Infinity right there. What a player. That's a yellow card. Could be right there, but I don't think Mr. Kramer's going to stop anything anytime soon.
Checked his watch again, and every time he does, I keep getting fooled because the game has gone on and on.
Ball from throwing from Rizzarona. Tries to get it into Shaqiri. I mean, I can't even... Francis, our producer, our software doesn't even go this deep into stoppage time. This is kind of a Star Trek game. I feel like Captain Kirk boldly going where no man has gone before. Deep into stoppage time. Ball tried to get into by Tahiri. It's going to be dispossessed by number 4, who's not on our roster for Chantilly. He's dispossessed. Ball cut off in the midfield. That's to Abdullah. Abdullah dispossessed. He'll get the ball right back. Try to get it up to Shaqiri. Ball picked up by the Invictus keeper. And that probably want that punt a little bit back. Nice header. Tried to get it out to Perrin. Kept in by Tahiri.
And we're getting the signal there could be 3 minutes left in this game. We're not sure how that information is obtained, but we'll go with it.
Invictus still trying with the build-up. They need these 3 points. A draw, though positive points for them. We talked to their coach before the game. They need 3 points. They need 9 points in their final 3 games. So now they have to expose themselves in the back. And we're pushing up the field. It's going to be a free kick for Invictus. There is no right now. We talked about how draws often seem in soccer. When you come from behind, it could seem like a win. When you lose a goal, it seems like a loss. But when you need 3 points, right now, Invictus needs these 3 points to stay in any kind of playoff contention. So if you're Coach Perrin for Chantilly, what do you tell him? Are you playing for the point? Are you playing for the positiveness?
I'm playing for the point, and I'm going to get that goal to get that win.
I mean,
they may have a feel-good win. I mean, they feel fabulous. They could also feel good about the tie. To lose it trying to win it might not feel quite as good, but that's what I would do.
Ball sprayed up again. Perrin. Ball intercepted. Invictus, now they're on the offensive. Puts it into the box.
And Invictus has almost 9 players up.
They need these 3 points. And again, you can see the wind. I'd like to say the player had the ability to back foot that one that wide, but this wind just gale force coming out of the northeast here in North Buffalo. Corner flags being buffeted. Flags on the top of the American goalposts.
So we know Invictus, they're all in. They want that victory.
They need
the tie means nothing
as the
to
kid,
them.
yeah. As the kids say, they want that dub. Nice goal kick. And is that the end? And then the whistles blow it. Well, the game. Remember the never-ending story? Well, this was the never-ending match. What a match here in Buffalo. Chantilly Forever FC, they are the de facto home team coming down from Hamilton, Ontario. We thought it was at the death. They get a 90th minute penalty kick, his second of the game, both goal and penalty kick by Troy Brumfield to snatch a draw out of the hands of defeat to tie up Invictus FC by a score of 2-2. Well, Paul, can I tell you, I mean, I didn't know what to expect here, right? You never know what to expect in these leagues. You have a bunch of guys coming up, one team fighting for the playoffs, another team fighting for respectability. And I would have to say, for a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Buffalo, that was one heck of a match.
It was a great game, and when the stakes got higher and the time got less, it was even a better game. We saw everybody pour out what they had physically. They poured it out onto the field. Nobody's leaving this game crossing that line saying, I wish I would have tried a little harder. Kudos to both clubs. Chantilly, hard fought win. I generally do an award referred to as the Stradivarius, because as the Stradivarius plays beautiful music, even more beautiful, I like to pick out a player who made the beautiful game even more beautiful. Well, I will give it to Troy Broomfield again, because the pressure you feel on that penalty kick, the greatest have missed those kicks to win World Cups. This isn't a World Cup, but for him, it may as well have been. And then just to get up there, and I was thinking, boy, he's got a lot of time to think, which I'd rather just get up and get the kick off. Did a great job. So he was a horse. He demanded everybody's attention, so he's going to get my Stradivarius for the day.
Well, you know what? If I can do it right now, maybe start a tradition, if I lucky enough, Francis, to do any more games, because this was a hoot, all right? You guys might know a good friend of Western New York Athletics, Inside High School Sports, my good friend and broadcasting partner, Roger Weiss, lost his battle with cancer just a couple months ago. And when we used to broadcast, he would say there were no winners and losers. And I'd be like, Raj, what are you talking about? It's a dub, it's an L. In soccer, you tie a lot. No, he goes, there's so much that happens and so much that you don't get recognition for what you do out there. But it's somebody that it's not just an unsung hero award, because sometimes that's just a feel-good award. It's the person who was grinding and just maybe didn't get the recognition. So I'm going to give my first ever Roger Weiss Awards out, one on each team. For Chantilly Forever, I'm going to go for Albasan Shaqiri, number 8. What a battler right there.
Great game today, right?
His great game, even when he wasn't on the ball, he was creating space for Perrin and Bromfield.
Yep, because he's had good positional play, drawing defenders over to him, opening it up for his teammate. That's a great pick. I love it.
And then, you know what? Unsung hero, the tomb of the unknown soccer player, number 7 for Invictus. What a show he put on.
Yes.
What an absolute show. We don't know who you are, but Roger's looking down on you. And, as an aside, too, what a well-coached game on both sides. The stakes were totally different, and the way they managed the game was almost to what they told us. And at the end, you can still see Coach Perrin not happy that, Chantilly Forever couldn't take the 3 points up the
But we do have to find out at the end. Maybe our next broadcast we could share if we find out from the...
He's still going at it, yeah.
From Mr. Kramer, what his thought process was. We had it won for Chantilly. I didn't see an offside, so I'm assuming there was a penalty,
foul or something
early that he didn't see.
Oh,
that's bold.
Hold on. This isn't going to play on air, but this is the replay.
All right, so we shall see right here.
We're going to the booth.
The replay. It looked like it was onside. Ball comes in, deflects. Shaqiri misses it. Ball out. And it looked like it was a goal. We're going to have to see what happens, because we had the replay courtesy of producer, our own Baba Booey, Francis Beck. No one seems to know what's going on. So,
but the ball did come all the way back.
Yes.
So I'm assuming one of the ARs had seen a penalty, had the flag up. It's difficult. We talk about officiating. They're not machines. Thank God we're not going to use AI as referees anytime soon.
Exactly.
But that's manning up. He knew that he's taking off the winning goal probably from the home team, but he wanted to do what was right. So kudos to Mr. Kramer and his staff.
Well, you can see Chantilly's still down there. We talked about the filibuster. They are down there on the Senate floor. Well, they get to take the 1 point back to Canada. With the exchange rate, it might be 1.35 points back to Canada. But if you look for Invictus, they have to be looking at an opportunity that was absolutely lost to get back in there. Now, still 2 games remaining, and they're, I believe, 4 points out of a playoff spot right now. So take the positivity. Both of these coaches, they know their teams, and I'm looking forward to a great finish to the UPSL season. Local team FCY New York up on the top. So, guys, if you're a soccer fan and you're in the North Buffalo area, you just have a rooting interest in the beautiful game. Check the UPSL.com website, WesternNewYorkAthletics.com. Come on out and see a game. What a great way to spend a Saturday evening, a Wednesday night, a Sunday afternoon. Just great ambassadors for the beautiful game. So
I do want to say one thing. I'm so glad you mentioned FCY New York, coached by somebody that's very close in the soccer world as my daughter was being developed as Jim Hesh.
Coach Hesh! Coach Hesh!
Longtime coach. So happy to see that. When I watched them here, I was telling Stu, who I was doing the broadcast with, I go, Stu, that team looks like a Jim Hesh team. So congratulations to coach. He's in first place right now with his,
absolutely.
with his team.
Just a great, and shout out to Nabil Saif and Ahmed Taher. Guys, I'm loving soccer right now.
Yeah,
and
sport,
Chantilly
right?
forever. Thanks for the show, Francis. Thanks for inviting me up here. Everybody at Western New York Athletics, Paul. It's been a great Saturday afternoon. So, final score here at Buff State Coyer Field. Wow, I'm still excited about this one. Chantilly Forever FC out of Hamilton. 2, visiting Invictus FC 2. I'm Rich Kozak for Paul Catrona and our producer extraordinaire, Francis Beck. Thank you for joining us here on Western New York Athletics, and we hope to see you real soon for high school and the best in amateur athletics here in the Buffalo area.